My name is Mike, and last year, something happened to me and my fiancé, something that still wakes me up at night. We had just bought our first home, a quiet little suburb in Georgia. Nothing fancy, but to us, it meant everything. We were an Asian couple, and sadly, that detail matters more than anything else in this story. At first, everything was normal. We unpacked, met the neighbors. The couple on the right was kind, warm, welcoming. Even the guy across the street said hello. But the house on the left was different. The curtains never moved. The windows were always dark. The car was there, but the owner never appeared. Until one afternoon. We were unloading groceries when my fiancé whispered, "Mike, someone's looking at us." I turned, and there he was, half a face, peeking from behind the curtain, staring directly at us, unblinking. And the moment I made eye contact, the curtain snapped shut. Strange. But we tried to ignore it. Except, he kept staring. Every day. Every time we glanced at that window, there he was, watching. Silent. Still. Obsessed. Then one night, everything changed. I turned off the lights in our bedroom, and something made me look at his house. He was standing in the top window. No curtain, no shadows, just a man, staring into our bedroom like he'd been waiting. I froze, and when he realized I saw him, he stepped backwards, slowly, disappearing into darkness. The next morning, he came to our door. Fake smile, strained voice. He said, "I was just adjusting something at the window last night. Accidentally looked your way." A lie. Every word of it. But we didn't want trouble. We let it go. 2 nights later, my fiancé shook me awake. "Mike, someone's in the backyard." My blood ran cold. I looked outside and saw a figure moving through our yard like he was searching for something. I yelled. He ran instantly, slamming the gate behind him. 2 days later, it happened again. This time, I clearly saw his face. It was him, Gordon, the neighbor from the left. I shouted his name. He didn't even flinch, just walked away as if he belonged in our yard and we didn't. I stormed to his house. He opened the door in seconds, which meant he was watching us, always watching. Same smile, but something darker behind it. He claimed he was chasing off kids who jumped fences. His voice didn't match his eyes. His smile didn't match his hatred. A few days later, he invited us over for Chinese food. We accepted, hoping to calm things down. But the moment we stepped inside, I knew we'd made a mistake. Gordon was already half drunk, slurring, muttering. Then he snapped. The kindness vanished, the smile vanished, and all the hatred came out at once. He shouted that this neighborhood wasn't meant for people like us. He admitted it was him in our backyard. He said it with pride. We left immediately. That night, we barely slept. 3 days later, a brick smashed through our living room window. Glass everywhere. We called the police, but no cameras caught him, no witnesses, no proof. and without evidence, nothing could be done. We were terrified. Even with the police patrols, even with security cameras, the fear didn't go away. Within 2 months of moving in, we packed up and left the house forever. And to this day, I'm certain that if we stayed even a little longer, someone wouldn't be telling this story in a whisper. They'd be reporting it on the news. My name is Noah, and in 2021, something happened in the house next to mine. Something so horrifying that even today, I avoid looking at that street. When Gabby and I moved in, everything felt perfect. Quiet neighborhood, friendly people, peaceful nights. Our right-side neighbors, Daniel and Veronica, were the nicest people on the block. They brought cake to welcome us, they talked kindly, they smiled warmly. But behind those smiles, something darker was growing. One night, we heard shouting, screaming, crashing. We told ourselves, couples fight, it happens. But the arguments didn't stop. They became louder, more violent, more disturbing. And then Veronica disappeared. Her car, gone. Her presence, gone. Her voice never heard again. Daniel avoided us completely. Whenever we saw him, he looked shaken, sweaty, nervous, like a man hiding something behind his skin. One afternoon, I decided to check in on him, just to make sure he was okay. He took almost 3 minutes to answer the door. When he did, his hands were trembling, his eyes unfocused, his smile forced. I asked him where Veronica was. He swallowed hard and said, "She went to stay with her sick mother, out of state." But the way he said it, the way his eyes darted around, it felt wrong. And then we heard it. A scream, a woman's scream, coming from inside the house, raw, desperate, real. My heart dropped. I stared at Daniel. He panicked, muttering, It's just a movie. I left something playing upstairs." A lie. A bad one. I walked away, shaking, sick, terrified. I told Gabby everything. We called the police. Within minutes, the entire street flashed blue and red. Officers rushed his house, kicked open doors, and then they dragged Daniel out in handcuffs. His face twisted with rage, hate burning in his eyes. Veronica was carried out on a stretcher, barely alive. Later, we learned the truth. Daniel had been keeping her locked in the basement for months, starving her, hurting her, breaking her. He sold her car, told everyone she left, and tried to live like nothing was wrong. But the worst part was the moment I knocked on his door earlier that day, she had made a sound, a plea for help, and Daniel stabbed her to silence her. She didn't survive. As the police dragged him away, Daniel stared directly at me, his voice low, venomous. "I know you told them. You'll regret this." That night, I had the worst nightmare of my life. I saw him, standing in our bedroom, a knife in his hand, smiling. I woke up screaming, drenched in sweat. And that's when I realized, sometimes the real monsters live right next door. We moved out soon after. But no matter where I live now, no matter how safe the neighborhood seems, I will always wonder, who else is hiding a secret behind a friendly smile?
My name is Devin, and for years I thought I knew what fear was. But nothing prepared me for the night I found out I wasn't alone in my room. I used to live in an old duplex in Queens, New York. 2 units, thin walls, creaking floors, the kind of building where silence never really exists. My bedroom shared a wall with the neighbor's bedroom, a man I had never seen, not once. The landlord said he worked night shifts, came home late, stayed quiet. For the first few weeks, I believed him. Then one night, everything changed. I was lying in bed, scrolling through my phone, when I heard it. A voice. High-pitched, unnatural, like a grown man forcing his tone to sound wrong, childlike, distorted. He was talking to himself, whispering, mumbling, non-stop. I froze, listening, trying to make sense of it. Maybe he was on the phone. Maybe it was the TV. But then the voice stopped, and the knocking started. 2 taps, right behind my head. I shot upright, heart pounding, staring at the wall like it was alive. 2 more taps. Slow, deliberate, knowing. Night after night, the knocking grew louder, closer, as if someone was tapping with their fingernail right beside my pillow. Then one night, as I drifted toward sleep, 3 slow knocks, followed by the voice, that same terrible, high-pitched voice. "What are you doing in there?" The words crawled through the wall like they were meant only for me. My body went cold. I didn't breathe. I didn't blink. I called my boyfriend, begged him to come over. And just like that, the noise stopped. The knocking ended. The voice vanished. Almost like he knew I wasn't alone anymore. For a few days, everything was quiet. But the silence wasn't comfort. It was warning. Then came the night that still follows me. I woke up to violent banging on the wall, not knocking, pounding. I shouted, "Stop!" my voice shaking, and the pounding stopped instantly. For a second, there was silence. Then I heard it. Not from the wall, not from the neighbor's room, from inside my bedroom. A deep voice, close enough to feel the breath in the dark. "Go to sleep." My entire body locked. I couldn't scream. I couldn't think. Something was inside my room. I ran, barefoot, screaming in the hallway, down the stairs, out into the street under the cold night air. People came out. Someone called the police. They checked every inch of my home. No broken locks, no open windows, no signs of anything. The neighbor didn't answer his door. And the next day, he was gone. His car remained. Packages sat on his steps. Lights off. Curtains still. But him, never seen again. I moved out that week. Left the city. Left the building. Left the nightmares. To this day, I don't know who was in my room, The neighbor? An intruder? Something else? All I know is, some voices don't need a face to haunt you forever.